Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 10-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. YouTube continues to tell me that about 60% of my audience is not subscribed. So if that is you, if you could just take one moment to hit that subscribe button, it's going to help me out greatly, and I will be here all NBA DFS season long breaking down these NBA DFS slates to help you guys become better NBA DFS players and to help you win some good money in return. Now, if you are getting very serious about NBA DFS, I do offer further content over here on Patreon, which I would highly recommend if you're grinding night in and night out and getting real serious about NBA DFS. I've gotten some really good feedback on this. You get premium NBA projections, NBA data sheets, player stats, team stats, play contact stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. A lot of good stuff going on. I think a lot of valuable tools to help you with finding out stats like which teams are good on defense in transition, which teams are slacking. And then as well as, you see the screen, a little bit of a preview of the stuff behind me on the screen, but there just gets in the detail of so much more. So if you are getting serious, I would highly recommend that. And if you're more of a casual player, no worries at all. I will be here all season long giving away this free content, free breakdown. So don't forget to stay tuned to the end of the video. My last thing to mention is I will give you my lock of the night. It's a segment I do every single time on this channel. End of the video, lock of the night. Guy I'm most likely to lock into my lineups 100% of the time, including, upper tier guys, lower tier guys, mid tier guys, depending upon the slate. It's not always going to be an elite guy. It's not always going to be a cheap guy. It's not always going to be a mid-range guy. You get the gist. So let's start breaking down this one today. New York taking on Orlando. First game on the slate. Aaron Gordon continues to be out for the Orlando Magic. We've now seen Nikola Vucevic priced all the way up to 10-1. This game comes in with a 209.5 over-under with a 4-point spread in favor of the New York Knicks. So expected to be a very slow-paced game. Didn't even get up to 210 as far as the over-under, which is very rare in today's NBA. And Nikola Vucevic priced all the way up to 10-1 now. So typically this is a guy I'd say go ahead, play him, but he's priced all the way up, and this is one of the slowest paced games on the slate. As a matter of fact, it is the slowest paced game on the slate, so it's kind of tough. I mean, his usage is still going to be sky high. If Evan Fournier's out, it's going to get even higher. He's listed as questionable, so but with him being priced all the way up to 10-1, it might be a situation where I'm looking to fade Nikola Vucevic and just play the rest of the pieces from this Orlando side because that price tag is very high. Terrence Ross at 6'3" is the next guy that's going to get the most usage and priced at a much bigger discount. So he's the first guy to be throwing in my lineups for sure. At this 6'3" price tag, makes a lot of sense. Then you got Michael Carter-Williams, Dwayne Bacon, Ken Birch. I mean, Michael Carter-Williams and Dwayne Bacon are the next guys you're looking to, especially because Cole Anthony is expected to be out in this one. At only 4'9" and 4'8", they both make sense as value plays for sure. They're going to continue to see a ton of minutes, and they're going to have to produce. I mean, this Orlando side's running out of options. And then, as far as the Mo Bamba minutes is one thing I've been keeping an eye on. He did get 23 minutes last time out. I mean, it was a bit of a blowout, but if this guy can get a few minutes, he's a very good fantasy point per minute producer, and he could have a huge game for you real quick. So maybe look into some more Mo Bamba. But it's basically Dwayne Bacon, Michael Carter-Williams, and, I mean, if Evan Fournier and James Ennis are out, they're going to kind of be forced to play Ken Birch, Okeke, Gary Clark, and Mo Bamba more minutes. I mean, they literally have to. So keep an eye on that one. Keep an eye on this rotation overall. You got Randall and Maine down here. But he just signed a two-way contract on Monday, and Maine, kind of same rule applies. He's not really getting the most run and or action, so maybe Randall starts to become a bigger part of this rotation. But anyways, you get the point, guys. Play a lot of guys on this Orlando side if these injuries continue to occur. On the New York side, slower paced game. They're still pretty healthy overall, and they're starting to spread the minutes real thin as far as the rotation is concerned. So you could play an Alfred Payton in a little bit of a revenge spot. He might make some sense. Nerlens Noel at 4-7 continues to start with no Mitchell Robinson, but hasn't really had the biggest game. He is typically a very good fantasy point per minute producer, so just waiting on a big game from him. So continue to play him. Maybe people getting burnt by him is going to get his ownership lower. And then Julius Randle's the most obvious play, continuing to see around mid-30s to 40 minutes a game. Very good fantasy point per minute producer. And RJ Barrett's the guy I was continuously playing early on in the season, but he's seen his minutes dip recently. He did get 33 minutes last time out, so it's RJ Barrett, it's Julius Randle, and other than that, no one really. Atlanta taking on Boston. This game right now comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 4-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. So, respectable pace game. Definitely a lot better than the one we just discussed. Marcus Smart is out. DeAndre Hunter is out. Daniel Tice is listed as questionable. If Daniel Tice is out again, we could be looking at Tristan Thompson and Robert Williams again. Robert Williams, a guy that I was high on last night, he went up there and had a big game, and he's still only priced at 3-1. Went out there and put up 30.5 DraftKings points, so you would be real happy with that. And I think he's going to continue to produce as long as we continue to see Tice out. So I'm going to continue to like him, and I'm going to continue to like Tristan Thompson, who should also get a bump up in minutes and usage as well at 4-1. He was priced at 3.9, now he's 4-1. The price tag isn't enough to scare me off him. And then with no DeAndre Hunter on the Atlanta side, I'm going to continue to play Kevin Huerter, Danilo Gallinari. These guys are the ones that are going to see the biggest bumps in usage and or minutes. So these guys make a lot of sense on this slate today. And you can play a Cam Reddish down here at 4-5, who should see some minutes as well. 36 minutes last time out, put up 30 DraftKings points. We're just waiting on him to keep exploding. So, and then on the Boston side, Trae Young and Clint Capella are the most obvious options in Atlanta as far as their pay-up options. They're the best fantasy point per minute producers. It's just they don't get the best matchup here taking on Boston. Pretty good defensively. So, buyer beware there. And then Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown both get great matchups in this one. But Kemba Walker is expected to be back, so he's going to cut into the usage just a little bit, and we could play him at 6-6 as opposed to paying up. And then as far as, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum always has the upside, but I do feel like these guys are having similar usage, similar minutes, so I would prefer Jaylen Brown at his discount at 7-9. Jason Tatum at 8-7. I won't talk you off him. It's just if I'm picking between the two, honestly, I am going with Jaylen Brown. Houston take it on Philadelphia. Joel Embiid listed as questionable. Victor Oladipo is listed as questionable. Eric Gordon's listed as questionable. It looks like Joel Embiid is indeed probable, so expect him to be back. Oladipo listed as doubtful, so expect him to be out. And Eric Gordon is listed as doubtful as well. So, on the Philadelphia side, it's going to be the same old business with everyone back. I'm looking to play Joel Embiid at number 1. It's at 11.5-point spread in favor of the Philadelphia 76ers, though, which is real scary. The Sixers are expected to just blow these guys out, so maybe it's a little hard playing a Tobias Harris, a Ben Simmons, or a Joel Embiid. I always tell people to play the cheapest guy in the situation that gets the most usage, so that would be indeed Tobias Harris at 7-6, because if it does turn to a blowout, he has the most realistic chance of getting you there at his price tag. If the game is somehow able to stay close, Joel Embiid is by far my favorite play. Houston does not have anyone that can guard him. Christian Wood is out. DeMarcus Cousins not very good on the defensive end. So I'm going to love Embiid in this matchup for sure. I still love him even if, it does turn to a blowout. Most likely he's going to be the one that does it. It's just know what you're dealing with. His upside might be limited. If he gets pulled in like the third quarter, you're going to be sitting there kind of frustrated. So it's a risk-reward option. On the Houston side, it's going to be John Wall at 7-8. That's going to continue to get a ton of usage. Put up 52.75 DraftKings points last amount, and I'm going to continue to love him with all these guys out. I'm going to continue to love all the wings, really. I mean, David Nwaba, Daniel House, Jayshawn Tate, all these guys are going to get a bunch of minutes. They're forced to. 40 minutes last time for Tate, put up 36 DraftKings points. Daniel House last time played 36 minutes. He put up 30.25 DraftKings points. David Nwaba at 4-3 the next guy that's been starting. He put up 41 minutes and 41.75 DraftKings points. And then you got guys off the bench like a Sterling Brown, who's played like 25 minutes. So I'd really lock in on the core that's been playing the most minutes. David Nwaba, Daniel House, Jayshawn Tate. DeMarcus Cousins seems to be somewhat limited in his minutes, but they're going to need him out there against the big man and Joel Embiid. So hopefully we finally see him just go out there and play, 35 minutes. He's only played around 20 minutes a game recently. Because I don't know who else is going to guard Joel Embiid. I mean, PJ Tucker's listed as questionable. If PJ Tucker's back, he's a very good defensive body, so hopefully he's back, and that would make more reason to play PJ Tucker, honestly. And if he's back, it's going to cut into a little bit of the minutes on these guys we were just talking about. So it's actually pretty relative news, so keep an eye on PJ Tucker. Indiana take it on Minnesota. Right now we got a 227.5 over under with a 6-point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. So expected to stay pretty close. Expected to be a decently paced game. Looks like it's the highest total on the slate, or tied for the highest total on the slate. And I'm going to absolutely love these guys on the Indiana side because Minnesota is dreadful defensively. I'm going to mention it in every one of my videos. I mean, there's three teams I'm looking to target every single time. It's the Washington Wizards, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and the Sacramento Kings. All three of those teams, I'm going to get real excited when I see that they, are on the opposing side of these players. So Domantas Sabonis, Malcolm Brogdon are absolute smash plays for me tonight. Love both of these guys. Seeing price tags increase, and I just don't care. I think that Domantas Sabonis could easily go out there and put up 60-plus DraftKings points in this one. I like Malcolm Brogdon at 7.7. Continues to see his usage, be at a high rate, and he was struggling there for a while. He's put up 24, 18 DraftKings points, kind of went through a little bit of a skid, and now recently he's getting back up to the 40, 50 range, getting back to doing Malcolm Brogdon things, so I think he's good to go. Karl-Anthony Towns, Malik Beasley on the other side are the most obvious options for the Minnesota squad. How much interest I have in them is kind of, I don't know. Malik Beasley would probably be my favorite option because of the price tag decrease. Karl-Anthony Towns definitely has the upside. I'm just continuing to wait until I know he's back in a full conditioning and he has to, shake the rust off a little bit after being out for so long. And then Miles Turner at 6'3" also makes a ton of sense, as mentioned. Getting minutes against this Minnesota squad. This Minnesota squad is not good, so it makes a lot of sense as well, just like I mentioned with Domantas Sabonis. And yeah, I mean, those are the guys you're looking to really in this game. Definitely feel confident playing them. And if Doug McDermott continues to be out, maybe playing a Justin Holiday a little more. Played 41 minutes last time out. Fantasy point production hasn't been the greatest, but he's playing a ton of minutes, so you can maybe capitalize on that and get him in one of his upside games. Denver taking on Washington. This game comes in right now with a 232.5 over under with a 3.5 point spread in favor of the Denver Nuggets, and I am going to absolutely love Nikola Jokic tonight at 11K. I think he's one of the best plays on the slate, putting up 63 and 64 DraftKings points most recently, and now he gets to take on the Washington Wizards, who cannot guard anyone. Absolutely love Nikola Jokic tonight, so I will start this game breakdown by saying that. Play him a ton. Westbrook and Beal both being in is going to kind of limit the appeal of playing either one of them, to be honest, for me. However, we're talking about a total that's the highest on the slate and a spread that's actually finally close, so it's like, actually want to play these guys, not to contradict myself, but that's the reasoning here. Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, if I'm picking one, it's really difficult. Honestly, they're both priced very similarly. They were going to see similar usage. I like the fact that one's a point guard and one's a shooting guard, so based upon your roster construction, maybe you already have a point guard in play, maybe you already have a shooting guard in play, and then just slot one of these guys in and feel real good about it. They're the two guys that are going to get all the shots, all the usage on the Washington side, so in an up-tempo game, yeah, I feel really confident playing. I don't know if I can play both of them. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I have a couple lineups with both of them, but doing like a all-in, having both of them in all of your lineups thing, probably not the smartest idea, but both these guys great plays. I'm going to continue to love Jamal Murray, especially if Will Barton continues to be out. Jamal Murray last night was one of my core plays over there on Patreon. Went up there and put up 45 DraftKings points at only a 7.2 price tag, so I was really happy about that. I think he can continue to keep going in this one. Will Barton, Paul Millsap, as far as their statuses, and then you got Monte Morris and Gary Harris. Really interested to see these guys. As I mentioned, I love Jamal Murray, and if these guys continue to be out, I'm just going to love him even more. It's guaranteed usage. And I'm going to love Michael Porter Jr. I had some interest in him last night. He let us down in the Boston matchup. He gets one of the best possible matchups you could possibly have against Washington. So I think it's a great bounce back spot for him. And then, yeah, I mean, those are the core plays you're really looking to in this one, honestly. I don't want to get too cute down here on the Washington side. The only one I would mention is Davis Bertans. Bertans looks like he's back. He's playing very well. Put up 32 DraftKings points last time out, and I think you can continue to see him shoot the three ball very well. And he's definitely an intriguing play for your lineups. Detroit taking on Chicago. We got right now a 222.5 over under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Chicago Bulls. So a decently paced game. Once again, two pretty bad teams defensively, honestly. There's a lot of good games here that we're talking about back-to-back, or for spots at least. You got the Indiana side, you got the Denver-Washington game, you got both these sides. Blake Griffin's out, continuing to be held out now. So Jeremiah Grant's going to get some guaranteed minutes. Mason Plumlee, both these guys priced up, but for good reason, getting a bunch of minutes and very good fantasy point per minute producers. And then not to mention the Chicago front court is terrible defensively. So I'm going to absolutely love these guys. Mason Plumlee becoming a elite fantasy player, 39, 50, and 48 DraftKings points. It's like, yeah, this guy is balling. He gets a great matchup. Continue to keep it rolling. The pay-up option for Zach LaVine at 9.4. If you can't afford Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine's a great B option for sure down at 9.4. A few $100s off. It's a great matchup taking on Detroit. Makes a lot of sense at the shooting guard position. Justin Jackson at 6.3 is going to continue to see more usage with no Blake Griffin as well, so keep an eye on him. Continue to play him, or Josh Jackson. I think I just said Justin, but Josh Jackson. Sadiq Bey at 5.5 and DeLon Wright. These are the guys that are getting all the minutes in the Detroit rotation. These are the guys that you're going to want to be playing. And then on the Chicago side, as mentioned, it's Zach LaVine, it's Kobe White, it's Thad Young. Wendell Carter Jr. is expected to be back, however, so I do think that's going to cut into Thad Young's usage. After Wendell Carter Jr. returned the last time out, it's a matter of him getting more minutes now. Only played 21, but I think that those minutes are going to continue to climb. And yeah, that's what I'm really looking to in this game. You could get cute with some guys on here in value plays like a Denzel Valentine or Patrick Williams, but I think with Wendell Carter Jr. back, those guys are going to see not as much production. I mean, Denzel Valentine had 33 minutes last time, and he only put up 20 DraftKings points, so not ideal. Moving further along, we got Portland at New Orleans. Damian Lillard at the top. This game comes in with a 231.5 over-under with a 3-point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. And I think I said that the 227.5 was the second highest total earlier in the video, so my apologies because that's not true. This is the second highest total. Portland taking on New Orleans. Very good game environment. Damian Lillard continues the ball, and I think that he's been priced up for a reason at 10.3 now. 37 minutes last time out, 61 DraftKings points. Unfortunately, he's priced up, but at the same time, I don't think we've seen anywhere near this guy's ceiling. Like, he put up 61 DraftKings points, and that's great and all, but this guy can literally go out there and put up 80. So I'm just waiting on that game to happen. I mean, 31 real-life points, 34 real-life points the last two times out. All that takes is him dropping 50 real-life points with those 10 assists and 10 rebounds, or 7 rebounds like he did last night. And you're very quickly looking at, literally 80 DraftKings points. So definitely a possibility with Damian Lillard, especially in this game environment, New Orleans. This slate just has some great options, guys. It's ridiculous. So this one's not any less. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson. I continue to say to not play Brandon Ingram over Zion Williamson. However, I'm going to kind of waive that advice in this one because of this game environment being so good. I think we could play both of these guys and feel real confident about it. Zion Williamson, Brandon Ingram, love them both. And then you got Enes Kanter at 7K. I'm going to have a lot of interest in him, playing 33 minutes last time out, putting up 34 DraftKings points in a game against Oklahoma City, who has a pretty good defensive center, and Al Horford. This game is going to be a lot easier on him as far as his matchup is concerned. Alonzo Ball at 6'5", Robert Covington, Gary Trent. All of these guys you could be throwing in your lineups, and I'm not exaggerating. Feel pretty good about it. Ridiculously good game environment. Robert Covington playing 39 and 37 minutes the last two times out, putting up 31 and 37 DraftKings points. He continues to see a bunch of run, so continue to play him. Gary Trent Jr., same rule applies, 36, 36, 38 minutes. So you get the point. Some guys getting some major minutes, some guys in a very good fantasy point environment, so I love that game. Definitely be playing some of those guys. Oklahoma City taking on Memphis. Looks like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is questionable in this one. This game comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 7-point spread in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, yeah, I mean, decent pace. Expected to stay somewhat close. We have a shorthanded side on the Oklahoma City side. If Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is back, that's going to change a lot of things. He's going to become a big priority for me, and that's going to drop the appeal of some guys like Dort, Kenrich Williams, that kind of deal. I'll still have interest in Diallo no matter what. And if Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's out, I'm going to really like Diallo just because this guy's like literally putting up 1.1 DraftKings points per minute or something like that. Very high productivity and too cheap in my opinion. So him, Al Horford at 7K. If we get news that Al Horford's resting on the back-to-back for some reason, we could be playing And you could still be playing like Isaiah Roby because they're going to probably lean on him for some more minutes in the back-to-back, the young guy as opposed to the old veteran. So I do like Isaiah Roby at 4K. Maladon's expected to be back at 5K, but not the best producer, so I probably won't go there. And then on the Memphis side, you're looking to play really Ja Morant, Jonas Valanciunas. It's that simple. And then you could go down to Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, any of the guys in the main rotation. But, yeah, I mean, somewhat limited, somewhat spread around minutes. It's really JV and Ja Morant that you're looking to. And I wouldn't feel too bad about filling in, Kyle Anderson, Brandon Clark, or Dylan Brooks. And then on the Oklahoma City side, you can continue to have interest in Darius Baisley. He's the last guy that I will say continues to get a bunch of minutes, continues to be a pretty good fantasy point per producer. He's got 33, 35 DraftKings points the last 2 times out at only 6'2". Makes a lot of sense. Miami taking on Golden State. We got Steph Curry at 10-5 now. This game comes in with a 223.5 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Miami Heat. 2 studs in this game that are relied on very heavily, Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. So you got that going for you as far as, predictability and fantasy point per minute. However, price tags are starting to rise. I still really do like Jimmy Butler at 8. Steph Curry at 10-5. I think it's a little too priced up for my liking with some of the other options we've discussed on the slate. I love Jimmy Butler still, though. I think he's going to continue to go into takeover mode, putting up a triple-double last time out. He has triple-double upside every single time he takes the floor. And this Heat team desperately needs to continue to win. So I really do like Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre, Andrew Wiggins continue to see quite a few minutes on the Golden State side, so we feel pretty good about playing these guys in the mid-range. If you need someone in the mid-range to fill in your positions, I'm not going to talk you off any of them. And then Tyler Hero at 6K on the Miami side continues to be a very good play as well with no Goran Dragic. He put up 43 DraftKings points last time out at 5'8", continues to be priced at 6K, so not too expensive. And Kendrick Nunn's the last guy you could be looking to, but a little more inconsistent in the rotation, so risk-reward play there. And the last game on the slate, Utah taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. Kawhi Leonard is listed as questionable. Paul George continues to be out. This game has a 227.5 over-under with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. So, decently paced game. If Paul George continues to be out and Kawhi Leonard is back, I'm going to really like Kawhi Leonard because he's going to get all the usage. If he continues to be out, that opens up a lot of usage, obviously, on the Clippers side. So you're looking to play guys like Lou Williams, Marcus Morris Sr., Serge Ibaka. All these guys are going to get a big bump up in minutes and fantasy point production. And they're all going to become, pretty high priorities for me on this slate because they're forced into playing minutes. We've seen these guys. They had all big games last time out. If Kawhi Leonard's out, we're going to continue to have a lot of interest in all these Clippers guys. But Nicholas Batum was out. That opens up even more minutes in the rotation. So those guys all make sense. And then on the Utah side, if Mike Conley continues to be out, which he is questionable, we'll see if he's back. But if he's out, if he's in, I'm going to have a lot less interest in these guys. If he's out, I'm going to continue to like Donovan Mitchell, Jordan Clarkson, Joe Ingles. These guys continue to see a big bump up and usage and opportunity with no Mike Conley. They're being leaned on a lot heavier. So those are the guys that I'd be looking to. So that is my overall breakdown of this 10-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Nikola Jokic at this 11K price tag. He's the most expensive guy on the slate. I think this is the first time I've ever done this with a lock in the entire time I've been doing this segment, but I just cannot resist prioritizing getting this guy in my lineup. This game comes in tonight with a 232.5 over under a 3.5-point spread. It's expected to stay close. Washington is the 27th best team defensively against his position. He's putting up 1.65 DK points per minute, and I'd expect him to get around 40 minutes in this one, which just amounts to a tremendous amount of upside. It's going to be ridiculous, the opportunity that Nikola Jokic has tonight. Absolutely love him, especially if we find out that even more of these Denver guys are ruled out. Bump him up even more, guys. Love Nikola Jokic. I don't care that he's priced all the way up on this slate. He is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Nikola Jokic, most expensive guy on the slate. First time doing that. It's like, you're paying all this money for him. Is he really worth it? And my answer is yes. He is worth every single penny tonight. Huge over-under, expected to stay close, pending injuries on the Denver side. You know, we could hope that some of those guys are out. That's going to give even more usage for Nikola Jokic. Love him. That is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate that. Wish you guys all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.